Hey everyone, this is Chumon over here. I just wanted to come on and share my story of how I own three successful six-figure businesses at the age of 24. I have multiple employees. I have systems in place to the point where I can vacation pretty regularly and don't have to be at my stores at all periods of time. And I just wanted to get into how I even got here at such a young age and how I did it with no money in my pocket. For this, I want to take us back to when I was 18 years old and possibly even a little bit before that. My whole life, I've always been a super business-minded individual, you can say. I've always looked at items and thought, how can I take this item that is available at this price and be able to sell it for more money? How can I market this item? I saw a lot of gurus and stuff like that online that were talking about drop shipping and just various different methods, which I did attempt when I was younger with various levels of success. I did actually make a little bit of money when I was younger doing drop shipping. I was able to purchase my first car like that and put myself through a couple semesters of college, and then as well as buy my food and little knickknacks here and there. But yes, bottom line, I was super business minded. I just wanted to make a dollar and hustle my way up there. I put myself in college because it was really what my parents had wanted me to do at that point, and I wanted to respect what their wishes were. But at the end of the day, I realized that my parents had not set aside money for me to go to college, and it was an expectation for me to take out debt or for me to pay for it myself for a degree that I didn't really think I was going to use. I'm not saying college is useless or anything like that, but my thought process at that point was, I'm not trying to become an engineer, a doctor, or anything that requires an actual degree. So why not just work physically towards those pathways that I'd want to do instead of spending all this money to be taught how to do it? I thought the practical experience would just be more beneficial to me. So I got out of college and moved myself over to Arkansas from Texas. Reason for that was honestly just cost of living was a lot cheaper, and I saw that the climate over here in Arkansas was a little bit more favorable to starting a business and essentially bootlegging it, which is what I did. So I moved out here and I started cold calling pretty much multiple stores. You would go stop in person and essentially just create rapport with different owners. I specifically targeted owner-operated small businesses around Arkansas, and I would come to them with specific propositions. Well, first of all, I would look at the location, make sure it was good location, make sure that it was underutilized in terms of its retail square footage, and make sure I had a plan even previous to me getting into that store of how I was going to take it from where it was at right now to where it needs to be. So even before that, I did a lot of market research and made sure that a location was favorable. But then I would hit them with propositions such as, hey, sir, just doing a little bit of research on your business, and I noticed that according to the amount of people I see coming in and out of the store and what type of stuff they're purchasing, there's not really a way you're making more than $2,500 to $3,000 a month. And you put it bluntly like that, a lot of these owners don't love it, but then you quickly follow it up with, so I understand you're making that much money. How would you like if I could get into your position, take over your store from you? It's still going to be under your name and we'll discuss a full purchase price, but I will give you $2,000 a month till I can give you that lump sum full purchase price, and the $2,000 a month will just be in your pocket. A lot of these owners at that point had been working these stores for 3, 4, 5 years, and this was the best point that they're able to bring the business to. So they would look at that offer and see, oh, I'm getting $2,000 for not being at the store. All I do is let this guy come in and take care of everything. That seems pretty appealing. And it was to those owners. I offered value essentially. And when they saw the value that I offered, of course, the rapport was already built. We made contracts to protect both of us financially so that not one of us was going to be able to be taken advantage of. Got everything notarized, and we set up a month where I came in and took over the store. I believe I was 20 years old at this point. Yeah, I had just turned like 20. And so I got into this retail location and I didn't have any money. Again, I had maybe like $2,000 in cash, and that was for like my own living expenses, and didn't have really any money to put into the store. But I did have 2 credit cards that I opened up 1 month prior for the sake of me knowing that I was going to get into a business. And I opened these credit cards very strategically so that I could have 0% interest for about a year after I bought everything. Knew I wouldn't need it for that long, but it would be just kind of an insurance. So I went out on these credit cards with had a total combined limit of like $6,500, so not a ton of money. And I maxed the motherfuckers out. I filled up my store with as much stock as I could that was gonna sell fast and was gonna be a high margin item. And I saw instant growth. Even though my store wasn't physically looking the way it was, my good customer service and being in an area that lacked the things that I was selling essentially made it very, very easy to become known locally. Once that happened in, 1 to 2 months, the growth was pretty much doubling every single month. And off of the first month, I was profitable. I think I took home like $2,500 or $3,000. Not a lot of money, but the way I saw it, that's something. And the next month was double that. The following month was double that. And it grew very, very, very quickly. I turned that one singular store into a machine that made me $25,000 to $30,000 profit a month. And man, I was big balling. And honestly, I got a little bit complacent. I bought myself a nice car, got myself into a little bit of debt, which was just me being young and dumb. I thankfully just kind of waited it out, paid off all that debt and started saving again. Then I just rinsed and repeated my same progress multiple times. Now, every single one of my stores is in a different sector. They're all brick and mortar retail. One's in a service industry and 2 of them are actually more brick and mortar retail, I would say. The service one is kind of a mix, you can say. Every single one of my stores was substantially easier to do the next one because once I had the income coming in, I was able to hire people out for my first store, make sure that I hired a good team so that I wouldn't have to be worrying about it in the future. And the good thing about hiring a successful team that I knew was doing right, that I watched very, very digitally, was that in the future, whenever I hired anyone else, I could just give them over essentially to the manager that I had of that location and have them stay with them for 2 to 3 weeks and they would be up to speed and know everything that they needed to. I literally took all the money, parlayed that shit into my other businesses, and I'm not making $100,000 a month. I'm not uber rich or anything, but at this moment, I make enough money where I can support myself, have a house, buy pretty much anything and everything that I want and look at. Within reason, of course. I'm not buying Lamborghinis and stuff, even though I could. I just don't want to go into debt. My goal right now is to take all the money that I earn and keep reinvesting into more stores, get more cash flow. And once I feel like my cash flow and overhead on that side is enough, I'll start investing the cash flow into more investment vehicles. It's a very, very simple process. It sounds very, very daunting. Obviously, you're like, what the hell? How'd you go from here to there? But I took it in baby steps and I essentially broke it down into a system, into a formula. And whenever I did that, it became a lot more attainable. And I didn't think about what I was going to do once I was in the store. Like I did, but not to the point where it was overwhelming. I stayed grounded. Of course, there was risk involved with it. I could have lost $6,500 if I did it wrong and been in debt, maxed out my credit cards. But the way I saw it, risk to reward was there. I knew the product that I was buying. I knew it was going to move. I knew that I just needed to have the right stock in my first location. And that was exactly the case, because once I got the stock, once I got the aesthetic right, once I got the marketing built out, that store takes care of itself now. I have managers for it. I have workers, and I pop in there maybe like 4 or 5 times a week for an hour to make sure that everything is going fine. That is now my job. I don't actually physically work any of the stores. I just get to pop in, make sure everything's going well, everything is the way it should, the store's looking clean, make sure my employees aren't slacking off. I am doing pretty well for myself now. I'm making not $1 million a year, but close to it. And I'm 24 years old, still growing. I want to teach other people kind of how to do the same thing. I want to go into the aspect of how I did every intricate aspect, how I dealt with complacency laws and permits and actually color scheming and just different marketing tactics and stuff that I used. I'm not saying I know everything in this realm. There's still tons of stuff that I'm learning, but I would say I have a pretty good scope over the retail side of business and how to build out a brand and an aesthetic in a physical format. And if that interests you, if that seems like something that you would want to learn more about and kind of go into the specifics of what my businesses earn, how I'm acquiring more businesses and what my method for that is, and what type of businesses I'm investing in, stick with me. Please subscribe to the channel, and we're going to make tons of videos just going into the nitty gritty of business. I appreciate y'all watching, and you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.